This is unprecedented opportunity now, the 21st century and the beginning of the 7th millennium. These are extraordinary times. However, keen competition, world competition. Hopefully the nations of the world will settle a big share of their differences so we can develop unique economic, social, personal prosperity for the future with limited conflicts, hopefully. But with the human race, you always have to keep your fingers crossed. Who knows? But I think it's going to be a time of unprecedented opportunity, but unique competition. Now, to take advantage of the 21st century and this opening of the new millennium, how could you use the opportunity? 5 good basic ideas. These are called basics, fundamentals. And it's interesting that I only have 5. How many fundamentals are there to anything? Here's a good phrase, just a few, meaning anybody can learn them. There's just a few fundamentals to being healthy. If someone says, I'm going to teach you the 50 fundamentals to good health, you say, well, that doesn't make sense. There's not 50 fundamentals to have good health. There's just a few. 6, 7, 8, that's about it. If you want to learn to play basketball, you got to learn the fundamentals. How many fundamentals are there to the game of basketball? Just a few. 5, 6, if you become extremely gifted, maybe 7, 8, that's it. Now here's what's interesting also about fundamentals and basics. There's no new ones. I mean, this stuff's been around for a long time. So beware of someone who says we've got new truths. Say, no, truth is old. It can be, more of it can be discovered, but there's no new truths. If someone says, I'm manufacturing antiques, wouldn't you be a little suspicious? No. So, skills and fundamentals are like antiques. They've been around forever. The law of averages I teach in one of my seminars, the law of averages. Here's what it says. If you do something often enough, you'll soon have a ratio of results. If you do something often enough, you'll soon have a ratio of results. One we've learned for a long time. Here it is. It doesn't ever change. Whether it's a church or a business, 20% of the people do 80%, 80% do 20%. So here's what I learned in time management. You can spend 80% of your time with the 20%, not the 80%. You spend 20% of your time with the 80%, 80% of your time with the 20%. You just have to learn. And these fundamentals now have been around for a long, long time. The 80-20 rule. We bring products, tapes, books, videos, things to buy for your ongoing education. We bring books and tapes and CDs, and we bring all that stuff for how many people? You say, well, you'd bring enough for 100% of the people. No. No. 20%. You bring all the stuff for the 20%, not the 80. Isn't that fascinating? 20%. It's fascinating. People's different reaction to the same presentation. Someone walks out of my seminar and says, wow, I'm going to go change my life. Someone else walks out and says, oh, I've heard all this stuff before. Same seminar. So that's life. Once you learn the percentages, it's called the law of averages. But now, let's talk about the fundamentals of life, the fundamentals of success. There's just a few. They're basic. It's like ABCs, which I deal with primarily, ABCs. So let's go through them. Here's number 1. Personal philosophy. Philosophy is a big subject. Now, personal philosophy. You know, there's religious philosophy and spiritual philosophy, and there's economic philosophy and social philosophy, economic, political, all kinds of philosophies. Where did we come from? And where are we going? And what is the meaning of life? Philosophy is a big tent with many different divisions. But the one I want to talk primarily about today, and then expand from that, is your personal philosophy. So jot this down, one of the best notes for the day. Each person's personal philosophy is the greatest determining factor in how your life works out. Each person's personal philosophy is the greatest determining factor in how your life works out. Your economic life, your personal life, your social life, your spiritual life, all starts with the conclusions you've made in your personal philosophy. Now make this note. Personal philosophy is like a guidance system, and it has to start early. When a child goes to school, they've got to have a pretty good guidance system working. And this guidance system does just two things primarily. Here's number one. This guidance system helps you to see the dangers and try to minimize those or eliminate some of those. That's one of the first orders of human existence, is to learn early where the dangers are so they don't swallow you up, don't devastate you economically, socially, personally, or lose your life. Now, this guidance system also helps you to see over here the opportunities so that you could maximize those. So if you learn to minimize the dangers, maximize the opportunities within this working environment now, we call this working things out to live a good life. But you can't possibly live much of a good life if you don't keep learning where the dangers are so you can avoid those, and learn where the opportunities are so that you can maximize those. That's about as simple as I can put working on your personal philosophy. Now, why is it this way? Why is life both danger and opportunity? Here's the best advice I can give you. The storyteller probably gives us, more to think about than in detail. But here's what it seems like. It seems like God wished to create for the humans he made a great adventure. Seems like. The Bible is such a fascinating book, giving us seemingly, what God delights in, and seems like God delights in creating this unique adventure. One of the ancient stories says God and Satan were talking things over one day. I thought, well, that doesn't seem possible. Now, the storyteller doesn't give us many details, so we've got to use our imagination. And on this particular occasion, God got to bragging on one of his favorite creation, his favorite person. It's called Job. He said, Job and I have got this great friendship going. Job and I, we walk together. Job and I plan the future together. Finally, Satan headed up to here with Job. And he said, yeah, God, Job, you've got a wall built around him. I can't get to him. God said, well, what would you expect? He's my favorite person. Of course, I got a wall built around him. Now, they're having this conversation. Fascinating. Storyteller says, Satan gets this bright idea. Said, hey, God, let's try this. If you'll take the wall of protection down from around your favorite friend, Job, he said, I promise you within a short period of time, your favorite friend will curse you to your face. God said, no, he'd never do it, not in 100 years, no matter what. Satan said, well, how are we going to know? Would you like to make a wager? It doesn't give us the details of the wager. But the storyteller says God picked up the bet and said, okay, let's try it. I'll take the wall down from around my special friend Job. You do your best. I promise you, no matter what you do, he'll never curse you. Satan said, the bet is on. According to the terms of the wager, God did take the wall down from around his special friend Job, and Satan then does one of his all-time famous numbers. According to the storyteller, first, Satan took his wealth, stripped him of his wealth. Satan said, that'll do it. Where's your friend God? He didn't curse God. Satan said, well, number two, took his health. Blow number two. Surely now he'll curse his friend God. No. Blow number three, and the worst, took his family. His health, his wealth, and his family. Gone. Satan said to God, here's what he does. And sure enough, Job's wife comes along and says, Job, looks like your friend God has long forsaken you. You might as well curse him and die. And Satan says, here's a little devil. And God really hasn't talked to him. And while they both listen, Job says, never would I curse my friend God no matter what happens. God said, I knew it. I knew it. And picked up the death whatever it was. Isn't that a fascinating story? Now, I say all of that to illustrate this. It seems like God delights in great adventure. And the only way to have great adventure in life is to have both danger and opportunity, and us with the possibility of figuring it out. Here's a good watchword for the 21st century. Pay attention. No use falling into the same trap somebody else fell into. No use living a mediocre life like somebody else has chosen. Take a look and say, is that what you really would like? Say, no. Here's somebody that never read the books, never made the changes. There was a class and they didn't take it, a skill and they never learned it, a discipline and they never tried it. And they blame the government and blame taxes and blame society and they blame circumstances and all the rest. They don't know. And the key is, watch carefully. Don't you fall into that circumstance. How we learn from what we see. Here's next. Next, you learn from what you hear. You put it on CDs and hear. We don't ask you to come to just one thing. We ask you to come and listen again. Listen again. Here's the next one. Be a selective listener. Don't just load up on stuff that isn't thinking. Life is a pretty sober place. It's life or death. It's success or failure. It's flourishing or mediocrity. This is a serious matter. So, make sure that what you listen to gives you the full range, a good diet of things to listen to. The positive, yes, but the negative also. We need to hear it from both sides. Years ago, I saw an advertisement once on Roseanne. Tune into Roseanne, white chicks talking trash. I thought, oh, America needs more of that. Now, you don't need much of that. White chicks talking trash. Here's a good note. This is a good one. My teacher taught me when I was 25, stand guard at the door of your mind. And you decide what to listen to, what not to listen to. How much time to give to what. But here's number 3. Read all the books. Now, there's millions of books, so you can't read all the books. But here's what I mean by read all the books. Read all the books you need to read to make your fortune, become powerful, influential, healthy, prosperous, aware, bright, helpful, father, mother. Read all the books you need for your life to flourish and become the best it can possibly be during the course of your lifetime. Read all of those books.